This one's dedicated to my Nickel City Mafia guys, Chris and Rick.
In Week 2 of the 2000 NFL season, former Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver Jimmy Smith had one of the greatest fantasy football performances ever by someone at the position. The most impressive part, you ask? It was against the 2000 Ravens, arguably the greatest defense of all time. Now, while the Ravens would eventually be the Super Bowl champions that year, and typically win games with ease due to only allowing 10.3 points per game, the Jaguars came into this Week 2 matchup with other plans, and so did Jimmy Smith, as he came in and torched this defense on several long balls, out routes, and across the middle, racking up a total of 15 catches for 291 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just to put that into perspective, this equates to a whopping 62.1 fantasy points in standard 1-point PPR leagues. This is the most fantasy points in a game by a receiver since 1990, when Jerry Rice scored 5 touchdowns in a game. While the Jags would go on to lose in a high-scoring affair 39-36, there's no doubt that Jimmy left an imprint on league history that day. I mean, this was the 2000 Ravens, the baddest defense of all time, and here he was putting Chris McAllister and everyone else on notice. Jimmy Smith was one of the most underrated receivers during the late 90s and early 2000s, and this game was just an example of how elite he was. Put this man in the Hall of Fame.